know that Sean's not going to be here. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Town of Lloyd Board Workshop meeting for September 4th. Mr. Ackwood, you can lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lenny. Okay, couple items here. First of all, I think we probably could have put this under new business, but since it's on the agenda, we'll cover it now. National Fitness Campaign briefing. Tiffany and I met with a gentleman last month, and I think Margaret sent you all a package, right? Campaign briefing. What this is they want to know if we're interested in them coming and presenting this to us. And they give out grants to put these kind of fitness things in little parks. It's actually, they have one in Rosendale. I went out and looked at it, and it's actually pretty neat. And it might be something we can put on the side of the field if we want to go for the grant. So I don't know if any of you looked at it. But I'm okay inviting the guy to one of our meetings to take us through it. I think it's a good idea. Tiffany, you got anything more to say? I mean, you and I met with him.
No, I mean, I think that it would be a good opportunity for us. And I know that you went out to Rosendale to see it. I had to go out to 2 appointments that way. And one of the fun things about it that I saw right from the road is they invite kind of like a local artist to come in, and they can paint, do a mural or whatever they want on the back of it. There's 2 different options. You can kind of do a smaller one, which is just the fitness equipment on the one side. If you do the larger one on the other side, it's kind of like, it seemed to be like a blank space. So if somebody wanted to do yoga classes or karate or, kind of any fitness outdoors, they would have access to be able to do that there as well. So it seemed like a good opportunity.
So if nobody has objections, I'll invite him to our next meeting. He can probably Zoom in because they're out of Chicago. Okay. I think we sent you the package too, Frank. I opened it. It's kind of neat, actually. And if you go out and look at the one in Rosendale, it's right by their rec center and pool. So it's here. I have the package printed out if anyone wants to see it. Okay, we'll move on to reports, and we'll go straight down to Dave Barton with Building and Zoning. I keep forgetting, we gotta look this side.
Okay. Tonight you have on your agenda the hazard mitigation plan that John spearheaded with the town. John, Dave, Lenny, we've all attended meetings. In your packet, I gave you the items from the index that FEMA reviewed. The green items on that list are the items that are applicable under this plan. The other items are sort of more in-house, ongoing remediation type stuff, that aren't indicative of repetitive loss. Anyway, your goal tonight, I believe, is to adopt the hazard mitigation plan, and using that tool gives us a better position when it comes to applying for grants for remediation related to environmental impacts.
Correct.
I am working now, we did that work out on New Paltz Road. I have commitments from 2 property owners on easements. I'm still waiting for that 3rd one, the one in the middle. I did get a map today from Mr. Kuza, Paul Kuza. It turns out we're going to have to move his section of the easement further back, where the Ulster County Health Department allowed him to put a reserve septic field. It's sort of right where we intended to run our ditch. So I'll talk to Rich about that. One of the options is possibly at that point is to run it underground or in a pipe, even if it was a surface pipe. So, because you can't install
Right.
a septic within 100
And
feet.
just to refresh everybody's memory, we were looking at all the drainage issues we had out in that area, and, between Dave's team, Richie's team, and some of Adam's people
Adam's
too.
guys,
We took the cameraed it out. Richie cut a couple ditches through to see, and what we determined is we need some easements to be able to keep a piece of it clean, so, making progress on it.
Yeah, I think, I talked to Sean about
think
how to
that's great.
craft that. It'll be relatively easy.
Right.
But I just have to get that third person on board. I don't think there'll be a problem. It's in a place that he'll
I
never use the
appreciate it.
problem.
I think it was a good piece of joint work between all three teams.
It really, I think, a huge success. We're ready to put up one more camera for the town hall, one of the security cameras, and two are ready to install for Tony Williams. Frank, I'll get with you as soon as the equipment comes in, which will go in the office area, near where the internet connection comes in. As soon as Elevator gets that in place, I can go out, I'll call you just to be able to get in the building. It'll take a few minutes. Rollo's already sort of pointed out best locations for those cameras.
Okay.
So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, now that it's cooler, it'll be relatively easy to do. In addition, in your package that I gave you tonight, there are 3 items for zoning amendments. The Vineyard Avenue GB and CB, I'm sorry, CB to R1 quarter, that's the maps. On the first top map is the pink areas, those are the properties that are intended to be rezoned. This is discussion that came out of the tri-board meeting. There were multiple requests and a ZBA application to allow ground floor residential. If you know this section down by the viaduct of Vineyard Avenue, you know that all the buildings down there are residential, ground and otherwise. This is basically from the kilt maker down the hill. The ZBA wrote a letter to the town board suggesting that this change occur. I've actually spoken to the person who's interested in buying White Street, the grape juice building, and this would be a benefit to a future use on that property that he intends.
Yeah, and in the tri-board, it sounded like all 3 boards were kind of in agreement with
100%, yeah.
this.
Yeah, nobody had any issues with any of these.
Right.
There is a cannabis amendment in your packet. Basically, what it does is it removes changes the distance to places of worship, and includes a reference to the state regulations on locations for where cannabis retail can occur. And that's the only change. Again, the boards were unanimous on that. The accessory
Didn't we
apartment,
extend it down the corridor further too, Dave?
we didn't change the map. We can explore that. This piece is only for the textual.
Oh,
amendment.
okay.
Yeah, so the map can occur
Can go
whenever.
with it, right, okay. Got it.
The last item for the amendments are the accessory apartment amendments. The tri-board, unanimously, I believe, suggested going from 650 to 900 square feet as the maximum square footage, and modify the requirement that the accessory apartment must be a secondary use of a secondary structure to the principal structure. So no longer will you need to have like a garage that you put an accessory apartment above. Again, thinking that if it's a senior moving in there, you don't want them to have to walk up and down stairs, right? So if it's an independent 900 square foot structure that fits and doesn't trip over coverage issues, that would be allowed via special use permit and site plan review. And the last item I have tonight,
And it was also 1 bedroom, we're limiting.
1 bedroom only, yeah, I'm sorry, that has not changed at all.
Okay.
Yep. The last item I have tonight is about 609 New Paltz Road. Some of you know, I talked about this before, a veteran lives in the building, and the town's worked a little bit to kind of coordinate some help from the county with him, and then independently of their duties with the town, some people have, and neighbors, have kind of interceded to kind of make things work a little better for the gentleman who lives in the house. There are volunteers now mowing the lawn, and someone helping getting some of the finances under control. He had been sort of taken advantage of by some people he had living with him. Fortunately, my office helped with that a little bit. Those tenants are no longer living with him, and these volunteers are helping get his life back in order. Dave Plapchuk, Lenny Hockmoody, and Anthony Giangrasso have gone well above and beyond anything anybody could have expected out there. Just getting Ulster County to show up and do their jobs, and actually reaching out to other resources, to get them online to assist this gentleman. And then there are people like Lenny, who has been getting groceries for the gentleman, taking them to the VA. And some of us have been there present when the Ulster County departments for like Veterans Affairs or elder abuse had been on site, to kind of help the discussion flow. Sometimes the gentleman, it's not so easy, but we sometimes it's nigh impossible. But that's been effective, I think. And I'm not sure if there's a citizens award for service in the town of Lloyd. But if so, I think those three people that I mentioned.
And I think you should include yourself
I'm
on it too,
not
Dave.
doing
You
that.
spent a lot of time out there also.
I'm not doing that.
With,
but
Dave was focused on controlling the dog. He
there
bought
was a
the
dog
food.
involved, and
He kept the
some
dog
stuff
under
for the dog.
control and made sure it got adopted correctly and everything else.
But I think that, those three people and the other volunteers, Don Hughes and his crew, have mowed the lawn on a couple of occasions. And again, that's how this all started, was a complaint about, auto repair and debris in front of the house. And my office went out and sort of started unpacking it. And, we joke about the can of worms that we opened, but it was a good can that we opened. And I think things are finally progressing positively. So I would suggest, if the town board was amenable to creating some sort of a citizens award, not just for those people that I mentioned, but also the other volunteers and the other people in the public who have helped.
Yeah, I think that I think it's a good example of people seeing humans as humans and helping them. I mean, there was stuff that,
It's terrible.
there was stuff that everybody did, whether it was Dave, Anthony, Lenny, some of Jim, even some of your team, that
That's right.
went kind of outside our normal scope of responsibility and helped this gentleman out, who was actually getting scammed.
Big time, yeah.
And we found out he was a veteran. He wasn't even living in the house at the time. Somebody had taken it over. It was a mess. Somebody was doing auto repair in a residential zone. So we stopped that. And
I don't think they got repaired anything.
well, and if you look at if you look at the house now, it looks like
looks
night
great.
and day.
Dramatically better, yeah.
Way better.
I drove instantly. I noticed that somebody had taken care of the grass, and it
Yeah,
looks
it's
so
really,
much better.
It's like almost like a brand new house, and I'm sure
Yeah,
the Murphy,
it looks
it was
great.
an old Murphy home, if everybody
Yep.
knows.
Yep.
And it's almost back to its, the exterior is almost back to its former glory.
So it's a good story, and you just gotta you just gotta hope that, the maintenance and the guy's health and everything holds up, so.
Yeah, and, we are continuing, I know Lenny was out today, Anthony went out at lunchtime, took some of his lunch break to meet with an accountant who's working with him. So, we're just continuing on. Some of us will stop by after work. I drop some dog food off and stuff like that, so
Yep.
that's what I know.
You said Don Hughes mowed the lawn a couple of times. You actually, that's understated. I mean, the day I went by, he had 4 or 5 guys
crazy.
trimming trees,
Yeah.
hedges. I mean, he had a
And you
crew
saw-
out there.
You saw how long that grass was. It wasn't just mowing
Oh,
the
it was like
grass. It was
hayfield.
actually taking that mowed grass, which is now this long, and getting it off the site.
Yeah.
So there is still a dumpster on site.
Yeah, they put all that stuff in a dumpster.
Yeah. So
Looks good.
it's a
Looks
piece
great.
of progress. Are there any questions?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Dave. The other night, the planning board approved the cottages for the village.
Yep.
And there was mentioned of the traffic light at Mayor Drive and 9W. And the light, they said that the light wasn't necessarily to be able to put in until the cottages were completed. And at that time, when the cottages were completed, in order to get a CO, the traffic light would have to be in. Now, when they're doing the project, I mean, there's going to be tractor trailers, they're going to bring the cottages in, there's going to have all independent contractors there. And it's a safety issue there. I mean, it's one of our busiest intersections between Haviland Road and Argent Drive in that area. So I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, as far as I know, the the permit for his traffic light expires tomorrow. So I don't know if he's moving forward with it, or,
It is moving forward. The light itself is sitting on the ground in Poughkeepsie. Currently, he's using the approval, my understanding is he's using the approval that was granted to collect financing from an investment, I don't know what you call it, an investment bank. And once that's in place, which could take, 60 to 90 days for the closing, everything will start flowing on the site.
do you think that this board could be kept up, with what's going on, the progress that they're moving forward with the light?
Sure,
Okay.
I can do that, that's easy.
Yeah, but I'm missing something though, because the light, the condition for the villages to put
Correct.
the light up was always, you had to have the light up before you were issued a CO.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yep.
So that
The
didn't
original and the
change?
new one.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
wait a minute, that didn't change, correct? Did it change or not?
That is not
so here,
changed.
but here's the problem,
Okay,
Vehicles, trucks, tractor trailers, they have to get up that hill.
I got that.
And that road, Mayor Drive, is not a 90-degree angle
I understand
to
that.
9W. That is 45 degrees, and it points south.
I understand that.
So if you're going south on 9W, and you have to turn into Mayor Drive with a tractor trailer, with cottages on, I mean, it's gonna be pretty difficult. So if they start coming down, coming from the south and make the left-hand turn into Mayor Drive, it would be a lot easier.
It's illegal,
All right, because there's no light.
because there's no light.
So what happens if they could put up a temporary light there as the project proceeds? I mean, we
so-
did that on.
Yeah, part of the infrastructure is already in
Correct.
for a light. It's possible, I suppose. The DOT has not suggested that was a requirement. DOT is aware of what's about to occur on that site. I mean, they've been in the loop, God, for 4 years, 4.5 years.
DOT hasn't issued a permit, though.
Yes, I have.
Oh, yeah, the light permit's in place.
They have a permit.
Oh, they do have.
They
that
issued a
permit.
permit last year, and they already put the underground infrastructure in.
Correct.
Yeah, the bases are already in.
The bases are already in.
The wires are stubbed, ready to go.
I have a question.
So when the first cottage is done, they get the CO.
Nope,
Wait, they
Okay.
apply for the CO.
They can.
Okay. That traffic light has to be in.
Correct.
before
Correct.
the
And
issue of
operational.
that, and a bunch of
Correct. And
other things as
operational.
well.
So what happens if there's 30, I mean, they're gonna put sidewalks in, they're gonna do the sewer line, so they're gonna bring in all the cottages. You might have 10, 15, 20 cottages. You got millions of dollars tied up, and we're gonna hold them up because there's no traffic light?
Correct.
Correct.
Yep. That's what the,
We're
that's
been their
we're gonna
condition
hold them
all
up.
along.
I mean, I
the
want
site
this.
plan is the law, and
Okay.
the law,
Well, they
that's
change,
what I do.
things change, they do change,
That-
right?
that is true.
And they do change, and as the board here, it's up for us to think of the safety of the members of our community, and it's a dangerous intersection,
Which is why they required the light in the first place as a condition.
well,
Yeah.
as the construction's going on.
Well, they've never required it as
well,
construction was going on.
well, if you
Now,
look-
maybe we should have, I'm not saying we shouldn't have, but I guess I'm a little irritated today because, I see this article that Mark wrote that said Lloyd grants concessions to villages, and it's absolutely untrue. In fact, they made it more restrictive. They made it more restrictive by saying they always needed a CO in order to get.
Well,
They always need
Dave,
to test.
I
Hold on,
didn't-
Mike.
well,
Let
I
me
was
no, you
talking
let me
and you
finish.
interrupted me.
Mike, let me finish.
You
No,
didn't
I
let
didn't.
me finish.
I was answering the question. So the question was, they always required a CO, a traffic light to get a CO. So now what you did was you put an additional restriction on them, it said it had to be in within a year also. So if it's not within a year, they lose their whole approval. So it's actually more
Well, it's
restrictive in that sense.
During the work, it's getting up Mayor Drive.
I understand that. That's another concern, and I share that with you.
So,
But
I mean,
all I'm
so
saying
as
is,
if you're concerned, can we make any movement or,
I think what we did was I think the last time when they were doing construction, you correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but they put signs up on where the construction vehicles had to go.
Yeah, we've requested that now as well.
Right. So, and because we got calls from people in that area. And we
Because they
had
were
them
going
put
through the
up,
hills.
right.
That's right.
And what about 9W? They didn't even.
That's their only way in, right?
9W is a state road,
Yeah.
and is designed for this sort of traffic. The actual construction pieces, most of that will actually be on site. You know, all the equipment, like it was before, will come in and go on the
Correct.
site and stay
Right.
there. It's, you know, it doesn't pay to kind of move things in and out like that. The, you know, deliveries of infrastructure materials like pipe and things like that is usually a one or two truckload. I mean, when lots of pipe comes, it's basically on one big truck and it gets offloaded and sits on the site until it's ready. In terms of the cottages, houses, they're all modular, and you see modular houses being transported over the road all the time. And it's sort of incredible that they make some of the turns that they do. But often I see them coming up and down 299, you know, to points north and south of Highway.
Dave, don't they have the other entrance they could use by
They do.
the storage,
They do.
by the storage unit also, right?
Well, actually, right in front, where the
Right.
sales facility
The one
is.
that comes off 9W.
Yeah.
Right, right. And that's where I thought they put the signs last time.
Yep.
For them to enter there.
Some of them. Some of the
Okay.
heavier, longer vehicles, they couldn't have made that turn up the hill, once you get to the top of the hill and make the turn. However, I don't think that the board didn't feel, and I don't feel, based on my experience, that there will be the sort of insane infrastructure mess that occurs even now. I mean, I was telling somebody earlier today, I was coming up north on 9W, and this person pulled out at Mayor Drive, turning north, and there was traffic, it was green lights in both directions, and I thought, I'm about to witness an accident at speed. You know, it's at 50 miles an hour. It would have been catastrophic if what I thought was going to happen happened. You guys would have been out there all day picking up pieces. So, in my opinion, the light is a benefit. The board says no CO before the light or 12 months, whichever sooner. Once 12 months comes and goes and the light's not up, no COs can be issued because the approval becomes moot.
Right, right. Which is the added restriction they put on.
That is the added restriction.
So it wasn't a concession, it was an added restriction that they put on. Right. So I just want to make that clear because people get the wrong impression when, you know, when something gets printed that really follows another narrative than what's actually happened. So just want to point that out. I mean, there was other pieces too, but I'm not.
So this board wouldn't want to move forward to making a suggestion to put in a temporary light, or what about the flag men? What are they going to do? How are they going to bring the cottages up at Mayor Drive?
They'll come up 9W. They're from Westchester Modular, so they'll come up 9W.
So they'll come up from the south. And how are they going to make the left-hand, they're going to be able to make the left-hand turn
Well,
with no
maybe they
light?
need to send a flagman down there at that time. As of right now,
Right, so-
they have permits to put up the three,
Cottages, right now, yep.
the three models.
Models, that's right.
to put up the three models, but they'll all come up from the south.
They'll actually probably come up the thruway and across 299. Yeah, so when a modular is transported, until it gets onto its delivery site, they're supposed to be driven on state access roads, which are like the thruway or 299 or 9W or 4055. 4055 would be a nightmare to drive with one of those in the back. But, so they are supposed to drive on state access roads, and those are the big ones.
And look, if there was a concern, I mean, yeah, the planning board could have requested to light up before construction started, but they didn't do that.
I don't know what the benefit was, because
Yeah.
the light is tied to impact.
Right.
So it'd be like charging an impact fee before the impact occurs.
Correct.
And that's illegal, except for recreation fees.
Except for
Well,
recreation.
and it's a safety feature too, you know, I mean, you're going to have heavy traffic, large vehicles, you know, loaded vehicles with cottages, I mean, right, so.
But up on their traffic study, they must have gone through that there.
Yeah, and the DOT reviewed the phasing plans and sort of ignored the phasing plan. They assumed that it was all coming at once. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I understand it. I just, but I guess that's just kind of taken back by saying it was concessions when it became more restrictive, so maybe that's my own personal issue, but that's kind of what happened, so.
And by the way, Dave, I never knew that article was in the paper, so
No, that's
I know you
okay.
brought it up, so.
It was just this morning, so
Yeah.
you may not got it yet.
I don't want to sit and do what-ifs, but as things happen, and they've happened in the past, he gets half, 25% of his units in, and now he wants a variance on this traffic light requirement.
Thank you,
Does he
John.
have
Oh, no.
any, does he
Yeah.
have any avenue
It's not
to?
available to him.
Not available.
The
That's a
variance,
condition.
yeah,
Site
no,
plan condition
so,
as well.
yeah, variance,
So
so the zoning board of appeals can apply zoning appeals. This is a site plan. The only person who can do this is by injunctive relief, and that's a judge in the Supreme Court.
Okay,
And there's no, judges always defer to the local boards having authority. So in your case, it'd be the town board for like things like rezoning issues. Planning board would be site plan. Yeah, no judge would ever overturn it.
Yeah, it's a condition on the site
so
plan.
Yeah,
he's got,
There is no
there's
relief.
no workarounds or concessions.
There's no relief for the CO issue, there's no relief for the light, there's no relief for the pump station on Vineyard Avenue upgrade that's required. There's no ultimate relief for the sidewalks from,
And you added the
Yeah.
Apple Lane remediation.
and Apple Lane was added.
That was
And they
added
agreed to
also.
it, so.
The only thing is, if he puts the units in and he decides to walk away without a light, then we're stuck with empty buildings, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for about a minute. If he decides to walk away, he would either really walk away or we'd sell the project, theoretically at a loss. This is, in my opinion, probably going to be a fairly good moneymaker for someone, and I think someone would snap it up.
We don't know that. Markets go up, markets go down.
Yeah, but this is the land rent. This is land rent. I mean, it doesn't, it's like taxes, it never goes backwards, right? As much as we want it to, let's really try to make it so. Are there any questions?
Any other questions for Dave?
No, thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, Andrew's not here. I just saw he sent out his report. So it's late. You'll get it. We'll make sure everybody has it. I know there was a dog bite issue 2 weeks ago out by, Dirk's Terrace,
Where?
out by Dirk's Terrace.
Oh, okay.
So I know he's taking care of that now, so. Okay, we'll move to highway. Richie? So we'll make sure everybody gets that report.
All right, good afternoon. We've done paving. I'm going through and seeing exactly what we did and how much we did and doing that stuff. I'm still behind on my mowing, so hoping to catch up on that. Been working out to the Tony Williams field, that's looking pretty good. So, still trying to find a favor that'll come this late and do it, so might or might not, so.
The base and everything looks good, though.
Huh?
Base and everything looks good. I mean, even if you just pack that down, you could use it this fall.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know, it's,
Oh, yeah, it'll be
What's-
usable.
Yeah, what they normally go through October or beginning of November, Rich?
yeah. So, then after that, I gotta send a couple guys up to help Adam with the couple of Kevin's problems. Then we'll get over there and patch that parking lot up and hope to be back to normal.
Yeah. Go ahead, you had a question?
I it was questioned again by a different person on the parking lot. Parking space lines, markings.
In the hamlet.
In the
We
hamlet.
talked about doing that this year. We did the yellow, but we didn't do the white lines.
It's, it takes a lot of time to do that. You're better off hiring somebody to come in and do it, you know?
All right, we were under the impression it was gonna get done.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think once you did the markings, it drew interest in, okay, how come the parking spaces aren't done? So I need,
let me see what I could do within the next couple of weeks, you know?
I mean, if we need to go to the line guy that we use for the parking lots, we can do that. But if you can, we were under the impression you were gonna do them, so we didn't
Yeah.
go that avenue.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to get them done.
great.
Anything going on with the other parking lot down there in Haviland Road? What's going on with that?
Go ahead, Lynn.
Somebody called the Corps of Engineers, now they want a permit, so We're trying to get a price for somebody to do the permit itself, because it's an absolute nightmare, so that's where.
Why is the Corps in? Is that wetlands?
It's because, no, it's because it discharges into a navigable water, and I disagree with their jurisdiction on this.
Right.
I am not the authority.
Right, well, we thought, we shortened the distance a little bit, and we thought we were okay, and then he came back and he said no. It's ridiculous because it's not a stream, it's only a drainage ditch. That is all it is. That goes into an existing pipe. So we're not changing anything, but there being somebody, God only knows who. Who would call the Corps of Engineers? Anybody know?
Let me feel out.
Yeah, they got a complaint, that's why he called, and then Lenny and I have been working with him recently, trying to figure out why that didn't show up on the map as a, as a
Stream.
protected stream, because we thought it was more of just a drainage ditch.
It's a drainage ditch from the,
And we talked to Andy Learn, who thought the same thing, right? So Andy is now working with this gentleman to better understand what's needed and why this all of a sudden showed up. So we're stuck on that right now. If we need to do the permit, we're gonna have to do it. But we're trying to figure out if, because, it costs money to do the permit, obviously. So,
Yeah, because I got humidity curtain and all that stuff, if they need that stuff,
Richie, the Supreme Court says it has to share a common surface with a navigable body of water, and I don't believe that this one does.
no.
I mean, the elevation change alone would indicate that it was, it's a mystery to me.
Can we do it when it's dry?
so anyway, I've been trying to help with Lenny and I got Andy Learn involved to try and help figure out what type of permitting we need.
Why, is the permit a big deal, or?
It's a pain in the ass. It's a annoying document, with hydrology studies and shit like
Peter has something.
that. Way overkill.
Yeah, Peter?
Quick comment on that. Can we go back to '07, '08, when we filled in the other parking lot? Do we need anything for that?
No,
Don't tell the Corps that.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter. This guy,
no, we didn't.
he's interpreting it his way,
And he
I
keeps
got,
putting a stream down.
right, he keeps calling it a stream. Eventually, it does go into a stream. It eventually does. It has to. Everything does, right? All drains do, right? So.
But that does not enter into a navigable waterway
Right.
till it gets to the river.
So it gets to the river, right?
So does the swap skill,
Yeah,
Right.
so, I don't know where we'll end up. I
For
don't,
that, when they did that?
I mean, the
Pardon?
worst case is we have to do the permit. That's the worst case. And, we're trying to avoid that. But I don't know where we'll end up on it, really. I don't.
Okay.
Okay, anybody have any other questions for Rich?
Other than thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the work on the parking lot. It does look nice. I would love to get it paved this year. I would love to get it paved this year.
No, we might, I'm trying to find a paver that's gonna be in the area.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. 'Cause it-
Callahan's got a little work to do down in Marlboro, so
Okay.
he's gonna stop, give me
All
a
right,
price,
good.
so.
Yeah, that'd be good, because if they're here, it should be, they already have their equipment here, it should be a little better. Okay.
Thanks, Rich.
Do it ourselves.
What's that?
Unless we do it ourselves.
All right.
Right now.
Thank you, Rich.
I never ran a paver, but I'll give it a shot.
All right.
Been since I've been on a boat,
We have,
3 to 4 days.
we have Joan's report in here. You could read it. If you have any questions, I'm sure Joan will answer for you. And we'll move forward to Chief Tanso.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Our monthly activity report for July 2024, we had 1,100 calls of service, 38 accidents, 10 were personal injury, 28 were property damage. We issued 117 tickets and made 25 arrests. October 6th, we had our Cops and Coffee at Bob Shepherd Landing Park. Breakfast was catered by Sal's. It was a good event. We thank Sal's for their support. October 28th, Lieutenant Olson taught civilian response to active shooters to employees at the Taconic Rehabilitation Center. On the 29th, he taught at the Dutchess County Law Enforcement Academy, Liability and Risk Management. On the 29th, we also attended the senior breakfast at Bob Shepherd Landing. For the month, we had 1 overdose, no Narcan use. And that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Very good. Questions for Chief?
Our instructors we have for our department, we have 5 now, New York State instructors, and we're being asked by multiple agencies to utilize our instructors.
For what you?
Firearms
Oh,
for
okay.
any classes. Dutch County Academy actually reached out today. They need 5 classes. So that just shows you the caliber of instructors we have in our department.
Good.
That Other agencies are coming to us for our assistance. So
Okay.
I'm very proud of
Very
those
good.
guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
I don't know what to find out.
We should,
Okay, recreation, buildings and grounds. Okay, we heard about Tony Williams parking lot.
Yeah, but if you get a chance to go out there, you'll see the hill also by the rail trail, and then you have the softball field and the playground. Once the grass comes in, it's gonna look awesome.
Right.
I personally envisioned that when the rail trail and we started doing the pavilion and the playground, of opening that all up, and when you're down on the field and you look over and you see people riding their bikes and walking, it kinda looks cool.
It used to be kind of swampy, correct?
It was swampy. We did clean it out a couple times, but then obviously weren't able to maintain it, but now.
Now we put
We're
drainage
gonna be
in.
able to maintain it.
Right,
And-
because he put the drainage pipe in now.
Right, and the way the hill is set, I believe it'll be an easy way to mow also, with
We
that.
have to put something at the top of that hill yet, right?
On which? The
Riverside.
parking lot one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Richie, the boulders, right? That's what you're gonna put up top? Yeah. Okay.
okay.
You
Now,
have- I think you have half of them up there, the other half were on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They actually look better, I think, than the guardrails too.
Yeah. But, we get, I've said this in the past, but we do get a lot of compliments on Tony Williams and Barry Ann, and most of the time, those compliments come from people outside the community. So I just want to tell you that, throughout the summer, there's been at least a dozen times that somebody was on their bikes or walking, and they come talk to me, and, they compliment us on the parks. So I just want you guys to know that. Also on Monday, Labor Day, Bruce and I were, watering. We took a ride up to Berry Ann, and now the park's not open for swimming. Nobody was swimming, which was surprising. I thought for sure somebody would be in the water. There was nobody in the water. Probably had about 75, 80 people up there, with grills going and people playing pickleball or basketball or, hanging out by the pavilion. No official party was going on or anything, so the park is being used, and it's good to see. As far as summer fun is over. Arts and crafts averaged 42 campers, and the sports averaged 33. 24, 25, 26, 26th year that I've been doing the. And that, summer fun was going on before that, but at that time it was 4 weeks of arts and crafts. And then when I started in '99, we went 4 weeks of sports and arts and crafts, and then we expanded it to 6 and 6, which we're at now. So
Okay.
it's you get people that were like Roseanne Lesser was a camper there. Now she runs
Right,
it. So
right.
you get a lot of people that have gone through it in different ways.
Right. What kind of feedback do we get on it? Is there anything people might be requesting that we can use, maybe enhance the programs? I'm just curious. If we
I mean, there are people that
Did we
go
get
looking for
any,
full
or-
day, but
Yeah.
the full day, there's no way we could do that at Tony Williams and/or Berry Ann Park. We would need to have an indoor
You need
facility.
to have an indoor
With
facility.
air conditioning and things like that.
For full day, right?
Right.
But no other activities that people request, or?
Nobody's really, I'm sure there's people out there that feel we can do better. But what we do, we're getting, our numbers aren't terrible. At one time, we had over 100 kids a week. But at that time, there wasn't as many things going on, and options for families to do. And we do our Friday trips. And I think that's the highlight of the week. I don't want to take that away. We do the little snacks and the juices, and that's part of the camp, in my opinion. So, we'll discuss about possibly raising the fee a little bit to offset the costs, especially of the counselors, which, as everybody knows, minimum wage just keeps on going up, and we have to find that money somewhere. Swimming, that was closed down. Adam and I have spoke about going up there and talking about dredging, bringing the water back and cleaning up the beach area. And also Dennis from the,
Yeah, and
You know.
I spoke to him, he happened to call me on something else yesterday, because I told him what you and I discussed, he's waiting to hear back from you.
I reached out to him once or
Okay.
twice, just haven't talked to him.
Okay, I talked to him yesterday, so I told him we want the total design, not just the drainage piece.
Right.
Right, which includes the beach and for everybody's information, the beach is pretty much just rocks right now.
Yeah.
So there's no sand. It's all washed away into the reservoir, right? That's why you
It's
want
there.
to dredge
Yeah,
it.
it's there, yeah.
But the reason is the water just comes off the hill and the drainage doesn't work. So we had talked to Dennis Lynch, I think it was, from MJ about, he was up there with us one day.
Right.
And we looked at ways where we can divert the water to the sides and maybe expand the beach down the left side to in the shallower water, right? And the other thing we talked about, Adam, was maybe aerators to help with the algae or something. Frank suggested carp early in the year. Maybe that'll work too.
Carp work for the grasses.
Right.
Copper sulfate works for the algae.
So, Eleni and I were talking about aerators, which I think we talked about it with Dennis that day too, so
Right.
what's that? Yeah, they do.
Yeah, no, they have a nice home.
So I think they have the mobile ones now too. You can move around if you want to.
And we're gonna work to start the swim lessons, restart the swim lessons next year?
I hope we can get in that position to do it. I really do. I just don't know. We'll have to do it at a modified level. I just don't think we can go, the full 6 weeks with it, but, Chris has been around long enough now and him and I have talked about it, so, it's something we need to jump on. So,
Yeah, I think even at a start point, some type of modified wherever you do it for a week or two to start, and then maybe the following year
Yeah.
expand. I
Right.
think just getting the start point. I mean, I'm talking for myself. I don't know what the rest of the board thinks about it, but.
Yeah,
What's the biggest restraint? The biggest obstacle to it?
Qualifications.
3 years ago, it was staffing of experienced lifeguards. Lifeguards now, they've been pretty much the same people for the last 2-3
So,
years.
okay.
I don't see any of them going away right now. I think they're still looking at, for that summer work. And then it would have to be a scheduling scenario where we modify the schedule. Because, right now, we pay a lot for lifeguards.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna have them there doing swim lessons, you're gonna add more time to that, so.
Yep.
On the other end, yes, we can generate some revenues, by charging a fee, to offset part
To
of that.
offset it, right?
Parking lot, we talked about there, the town pavilion, we're just still waiting on, we're at where it is right now, correct? The
Yeah.
pavilion? Okay. And then Berry Ann Park, we talked about the beach. Tony Williams in the town for the month of September and October is every day there's something going on. Every day there's somebody practicing. Tony Williams, there are days when if you go up there, you will see youth football, you will see youth cheer, you will see a softball team on a softball field, and you will also see youth soccer on the field we made over by the small pavilion, and you'll also see the tennis team practicing. So all within one day, you will see all that, plus people just, using the rail trail.
They're always playing basketball too.
Oh, someone's always playing, right, there's no organization, but there's people always there. And there's adults playing tennis once tennis practice is over. So it is busy, and I believe the 15th is opening of football. So if you get a chance, you can go up there and see what the park looks like at its capacity. It's busy, but it's a good thing. And,
Yeah.
the town field this year with youth soccer is using that as their hub. They'll be busy there, as well as lacrosse having practices there, youth lacrosse, I should say, and then also the school district using it for modified soccer practices and also some games. And as far as other small parks and parcels of land that we take care of. I think everything's in pretty good shape. Every time I get the call about the bees, I send the guy out, and I can't believe how big they get so quick. Yeah, that one, yeah.
They were almost excited. They were like, come look at this bee's nest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and I go over, and they're just flying all around. I'm like, and let's go this way.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
He came the next day, had his outfit on, and
Yeah.
and sprayed it. So,
Thank you.
Did we get back with that guy who wanted to use the select team, the baseball? Has to
yeah,
have the kids?
we text back and forth. Yes.
Okay, is they gonna be able to use it or not?
Probably not.
Okay.
I gave him an opportunity for Tuesdays,
Okay.
and they haven't got back to me
Okay.
with a yes or
As
no.
long as we got back with him, I'm fine.
Yep.
That's
He's
good.
used it in the past.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of groups during COVID, which basically were using it.
Okay.
And a couple of them are still looking to use it, but now I just don't have the availability because we're going back to
Because
running
everything
our own
else is going,
programs.
right. No, okay. No, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I'm
But
just,
I did speak.
And the last thing was, did the stripe and seal guy get back to you on being Cardi and the lot down here, the sales
No.
lot?
No, he told me he would get to it when he can, and I have not heard back, and I've had a decent amount of messages for him. I can try him again tomorrow.
Okay. All right, I mean, I could call him too if it'd help. I don't know if it'd help, but probably not.
I mean, the one time they came out the next day, probably
Right,
because they
I mean,
they weren't busy, and then.
the last time we used them, they did 2 lots
Yeah, they were
within a
here
day.
that afternoon, so,
Right.
I'm sure they're busy, but I'd love to have them put us on the schedule
Yep.
and get it
Okay.
done. All right?
Anybody else have questions for Frank?
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, water and sewer.
Good afternoon, Adam Littman, Administrator for Channel Lloyd Water and Sewer. I don't have nearly that much to talk about, so it's gonna be short and sweet. So, river water's making up 90% of daily production. We're back on full river again. Our wells are back online and providing the remaining 10%. So we may remember, well pump number 1 was replaced in May. We had a lightning strike late last year, took that pump out. That pump failed again several weeks ago. I contacted JT Eckerson, which is the well company that takes care of our wells for us. He showed up right away, he pulled the pump, he got it warranted for us, and put it back in. I can't thank him enough.
Good job.
So that's back in service. Our production time at the water plant's averaging about 10 hours per day still. Our road crew, they finished the installation of the sewer system for the pavilion, and the startup there is complete. All systems are go. They've been busy with markouts. They're still doing some hydrant repair and replacements. They've been doing a lot of mowing. Sewer plants got their daily operations as usual. These are a little difficult down there at this time of the year with settling. Some of the things we had spoken about in the past were let me go back to the river intake. I have contacted the other 2 companies. One I thought was gonna give us a quotation. I had actually forwarded you the email so that you could see. I'm not getting the responses, so you guys have a resolution on tonight's schedule to make a decision. I got one more employee update. Philip Grasso has completed his daily operations for wastewater and his basic laboratory course at SUNY Morrisville. So I will be completing his application and getting that prepared for him so he can take his test for DEC soon. So he will be one of our next wastewater operators.
Is that an online course? That's pretty long haul, right?
No, the basic ops is
He had
2
to go
weeks
there.
stay,
Wow,
and
okay.
then the laboratory is 1 week.
So he had to drive there, yeah.
He drives, he stays. So we've all done it.
Oh, okay.
Good, very good.
Where is Morristown?
Any questions?
Any questions for Adam?
No. I'll talk to you about Bridgeview.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I gave the resident a call the other day. She was thrilled, the mere fact that we called her.
Okay.
And I explained to her
Yeah.
that you're a little tied up, but
Things are a little busy, and as we all know, we're definitely short one of our employees for the time being. So, it makes those projects a little more difficult, but we'll get something figured out for you.
I'll talk to you Monday.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay, we'll move through the agenda. Old business, there's no old business that we had on today. I mean, there's some ongoing stuff we'll get updates on at the next meeting. Because some new business, I think everybody saw, I know everybody who's at the senior breakfast saw, that we did get, we kept putting this digester methane grant into EFC and not being successful. We did get a 200K grant from Senator Hinchey to redo this. And again, it's the project, to move the flares and kind of redesign the entire digester process. It's the project we actually put out the bid last month, so I think we're supposed to get bids back. I don't know if we got any yet or not, but hopefully we get some bids by 9/12. Yeah, and I actually reached out to Andy Learn to make sure they advertise on their site too. Okay, so, but that was good news, because I think it's, if we can get that done, we've been waiting for a few years. I know that engineering work was actually done back 6, 7 years ago, so we appreciate that. We also got the 100K grant from Ulster County, from their ARPA program. They had designated $2.3 million for solar grants at $100,000 each. And we applied for one. If you remember, we put the roof on the highway garage to prepare it for solar. We got some estimates that came in around $200,000. You're allowed to apply for 50% with that. So we were able to get that grant. It's good for 2 years. So we have 2 years to try and figure out how to either get another grant or decide what we want to do with it. And there's about 30% credits also with it. So we probably have to come up with about 70% of the remaining funding to say we want to start the project. So
What was the total estimate, Dave?
like right over 200,000, right around 200,000.
Okay.
So we got the 100K grant now, 30% of credits. And if we can now go out, and I actually have Victoria Reed looking for solar grants for us. So hopefully she can find us something.
Good.
But that's 2 pieces of good news, so I did want to bring them up and make sure that we get them out in public. Okay, any questions on either of them, by the way? Okay, let's move forward then. Privilege to the floor. Okay, we'll move into motions and resolutions. This first one is adopting the Ulster County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan for 2024. And Dave mentioned it, that's what he gave the spreadsheet with our actions on. John took the lead along with Richie's team, Dave's team, and Adam's team to pull this together. So the resolution, let me read the resolution first. So it's a resolution for the town of Lloyd to adopt the Ulster County Hazard Mitigation Plan 2024, where town of Lloyd recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property. The town of Lloyd has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan known as the Ulster County Plan in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. Whereas Ulster County Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in Lloyd from impacts to future hazard disasters. And whereas by adoption, Lloyd demonstrates their commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Town of Lloyd, New York, that in accordance with the town board, Town of Lloyd adopts the plan approved by the community, may be edited or amended after submission for the review, but will not require the community to readopt any further iterations. This only applies to the specific plan and does not absolve the community from updating the plan in 5 years. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Get second?
Second.
Any discussion? I will say this, that plan, the last plan was in 2016, and it had expired in 2021. They go for 5 years, and we actually didn't finish our plan in 2016, so we never adopted the last plan. And you need these in order to get the FEMA hazard mitigation grants. So we got the generator grants and the utility pole grants from FEMA based on the fact that we were participating in this 2020 for updates, so.
Okay.
Just a little background information. Okay, any other discussion?
No, sir.
Not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, B, resolution to authorize the supervisor to request a new position duty statement for a full-time account clerk position in the town of Lloyd. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
How much is this job going to pay?
I don't know the exact amount, Mike, but that's the one we put in the budget last year as converting to full-time in June of this year. So we can find it from the budget meeting.
Is this a CSEA job, or?
This is a CSEA job. So that's why we have to get that's what we're requesting, the position duty statement. Remember last year, we started it off as half-time and said, eventually we moved to full-time, and then we're gonna have to get this, position duty approved. So that's what we're trying to
So
do.
what is this, between the two offices?
Yeah, between the two offices and also somebody to help with all the grant administration. Right now, we're overwhelmed with, because we got a lot of grants outstanding, which is a good thing, but we're overwhelmed with some of the administration getting the rebates back, so we need help
Well,
with those.
we hired somebody to do the grants, so.
That's grant writing, Mike. That's grant writing. You still have, even when we had Millennium, if we got a grant from them, which we got only limited, we still had to do the administration, like the one we got at Shepherd Landing that we finished. We haven't got the rebates back on that yet. The pavilion grants we still have to get the rebates back. So we need help processing them through the system, and it's actually, it's a lot of work for a short period of time. So as long as you're getting grants, so that's the third thing. And, yeah, so you're right, between the two offices is the bookkeeper stuff that the person's been doing. The civil service stuff, we would like somebody to do, because Margaret's been doing most of that, along with Kendra. And, it kind of offloads a bunch of work, yes. And as I said, we did budget for it last year. And of course, we got a budget coming up now, so we'll see where it puts it. So this is requesting the code first.
Yes.
That's the first step.
Number for the civil service.
Position
Before we
number.
approve an actual person for that. So, any other discussion, any questions? Gonna do a roll call, Wendy?
Frano,
Yes.
Plavcheck.
Yes.
Akmoody.
Yes.
Guerrero. Rizzo.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, Resolution C, and this is the one Adam just spoke of. Whereas Hudson River water intake screen was routinely cleaned every year by Matt Smith and his company, Marine Services, whereas Matt retired 4 years ago, and Adam has reached out for quotes for the past 4 years unsuccessfully, as these are specialty companies, and Lippman said it's imperative to clean the intake screen before there's a major failure. Whereas Mr. Lippman made attempts to get quotes from 3 companies, and Underwater Construction did not respond. Underwater Solutions has not responded, and Marine Diving Service has responded with a quote of $13,300. Now therefore be it resolved, Town of Lloyd Board approves the cleaning of the Hudson River water intake screen by Marine Diving Service as soon as possible. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call, Wendy?
Frano,
Yes.
Plavcheck.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Akmoody.
Yes.
Rizzo.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, so Adam can
came
get
in?
that done. Must be, I was on
I
mute.
turned my phone off.
Yeah, so did I, it must have come back on. I haven't turned it off for an hour. Okay, Resolution D. To install an additional street light on South Street at the recommendation of Central Hudson Field Engineer due to a safety concern which exists further down the street from the light that was previously approved at 54 South Street. On the blind curve, the approximate cost to the town would be $169 to $180 annual fee.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carried. Any other business for the board? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion to go into executive session to
Motion.
have a contract, for a contract negotiation. Can Got a motion, did I get a
Oh,
second?
motion,
Okay, so we'll go into executive session at 5 o'clock.
5 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Is it warm in here, or is it me?
It is. It's warm, because that board blew out now. We're waiting for the board.
I think it
The
smells weird in
lightning, the
here.
lightning
So-
struck. We gotta put a new
so-
surge protecting breaker in there.
Is that why it smells funny in here too?
No,
What, smell?
smells, I don't know.
There might- When I walk,
what, somebody else came and said it smelled like tuna fish.
It definitely has, it has an aroma in the town.
Is there something in the lunchroom that's,
Somebody did
hasn't been thrown out?
cumin today, so it could be.
Yeah, I didn't hear you either.